Hi, I'm Cynthia Schiller. Please like and subscribe where we help and heal one day at a time. I'm going to talk about something. I just want you to know it might be a little disturbing. It's about an accident that happened. So if you need to tune out, that's fine. But it kind of explains narcissism. Do people always portray themselves as who they really, really are? And sometimes it unfolds within time. And sometimes it can be pretty severe and drastic. I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story. It was a true story about a murder or manslaughter where it was a nurse, so she is a helpful person in society, but she had gone out drinking, just doing her own thing, and didn't care, and drove home drunk, wasn't thinking about other people, just decided to drive home drunk, and she ended up barreling into this homeless man, and he literally smashed through her windshield. His body was half in the car. She could have stopped, decided, she needed to take care of herself instead of this dying man in her car. She passes a fire station where her brother, who was on duty, was working. So she knew where that fire station was. They could have done the necessary medical stuff for him and gotten him to a hospital. He probably, based on the medical examiner, he could have lived an hour or up to a day longer if they would have taken care of him. So anyways, she calls her friend over, kind of doesn't even tell her friend what's going on, has her friend look at the man in the garage. She ended up parking her car in the garage, and she's telling her friend to see what's in there. She didn't prepare her, so she didn't care the emotional stuff that's going to go on. The friend freaks out. They end up calling another friend. The friend was on probation, probation, I think probation. And he yeah, it must have been probation. So he was called, and he was furious because he's trying to do things on the up and up so he can stay out of jail. And then she gets him intertwined with this nearly dead person in the car. She also turned off the lights in the garage and locked the door and just left that man to die. So the male friend comes over. Now they're trying to figure out what to do with this body. He at least was kind-hearted enough not to consider destroying the body, because he had said that he wanted the man to be found so the family members could have closure because of what happened. They ended up half-heartedly, not heartedly, basically saying apologies to the guy as they pull him from the car. He was struggling, but anyways, they wrap him in this rug and bring him to Cobb Park, I believe, in Fort Worth. Is it Fort Cobb? Wait, Cobb Park, and I can't remember the name of the place. But so they put him on a park bench, and the cop comes across it and notices, that the bruises and the leg was almost completely severed off. One arm was really broken, the other leg was really broken, and he kind of put two and two together that there's not enough blood here. This must have been taken from somewhere else. And so they all made a pact not to tell anybody. Well, the first friend, female friend that came over, ended up talking to people, and this person got arrested, got the murder charge. But when a narcissist goes through things, sometimes we see, oh, it was a nurse, a person who cares for people, has a network of friends, things like that. But sometimes it does take, I don't know what she was like in her regular life, but to have that mentality of there's a dying person that you have to drive several blocks home. She passed payphones. This is kind of back when we didn't really have as many cell phones, but she could have called for help. She was a nurse. She could have tried to do some things. She could have driven to the hospital. She could have tried, just like, the guy is struggling. They talked about the blood spatters, that he must have been trying to talk, like asking for help. You can see that he's kind of grabbing, trying to pull himself into the vehicle. It was just a terrible situation. So narcissists, they like to hide things. which is what she did. She drove into that garage, closed the door, turned off the light. Like even turning the light off is closing it off even more. And it made it harder for the guy. Like he was still alive at that time. Um, and so she had no looking back at what she did. She didn't take accountability. She called her friends, help me, not let's help this man. It was help me get out of this. And that's what narcissism is all about. That's a person dying. You know, we're sad that they were rude to us and left us or ghosted us, but a person's dying, just like we feel like we're dying inside. And to just have them look away, kind of like the silent treatment or ghosting. Narcissist, flick of a switch, she turned that light off. It's in their mind, it's gone, you know, but how do I cover it up? I know I did something wrong. How do I cover it up? Now, how do I make it better? She could have tried to make it better. But just like narcissists, they don't try to make it better. They try to cover it up. And as far as blame shifting or things like that, to cover up who they are, you know, they kind of took it to a different area, just like the narcissist. They take whatever the situation is to a different area, which is usually us. So put the blame on us. They put him outside at that park bench so it would look like maybe something else happened. Maybe he was attacked at the park, to where they're taking the focus off of them, because if she left it at the house or put it on her front yard, the person, not I don't want any disrespect to this man, it sounded like he was a really good person. Who he was a very kind-hearted person. Didn't have very many friends, so he would go above and beyond when he had friends. He was very giving, just like we are. He was empathetic, and those two didn't know each other. She just hit him when she was driving home from the bar, but in his life he ended up homeless because he ran into this girl. He fell in love with her. And so he did everything he could. She had, as she said, financial problems. Who knows if that's true or not, but he gave and gave and gave. He lost his vehicle. He lost his house because he was taking care of her. And that's kind of where we are, where we're losing everything. We're losing everything because we are giving so much. He ended up homeless, and he could have been safe at home if he didn't give everything to this woman, the one he fell in love with. And it's just something to think about, like how destructive. And even if you stay in the relationship, it is so destructive that in your dying days, are they going to look back like, all right, well, just time to move on, just like that nurse did? Oh, well, time to move on. You know, do they have remorse? Sometimes the intent of what's in your heart matters. You know, I can't always expect my significant other to do things my way. Just like, I hate bringing up food as examples, but if they have a kind heart and they made me strawberry pie, okay, they were trying to do something nice for me. But if I had a strawberry allergy, like, are they purposely making strawberry pie to get me sick? Or are they trying to do something kind? The intent matters. You were trying to be nice. You can't always foresee what's going to happen or know everything about your partner. Just like sometimes we don't know what the other person's thinking. And that's where the communication comes in. You can't get mad at somebody when they couldn't logically know. If they could, with deductive reasoning, know certain things. But I try not to get mad at people if they have a kind heart and they try. It might be the wrong thing, but depends on their intent. I had a friend who wanted to help me, which ticked me off. But he put I bought a place and it had like 3 holes in the wall, which were not that big of a deal. I was going to patch it myself. So he actually broke into my house when I wasn't there and tore down these walls, thinking that he's doing something nice. Um, and it ended up costing me a lot of money. It didn't turn out as good. The seams weren't as flush as they should have been. It would have looked better if I would have just patched it. I was kind of upset, but it was good hearted. But you know, that's still wrong to break into your house. But um, I didn't discard him because it's not like he broke in to destroy my house. He broke in to make it better, but that's still crossing boundaries. We have to keep boundaries because people will take advantage of it. And because I expressed I wasn't happy, but because I didn't hold bigger boundaries, I had a store and he tried to help with my store. And when I was out of town, he schmoozled my employees into letting him like change everything. And that was the worst sales that we had. He destroyed a lot of my sales. I purposely had our balloon order place on the lower floor. It was like a bi-level kind of thing because we needed the extra height for the balloons, so we can make our balloon bouquets. But he changed it, which messed everything up. Sometimes when people have good hearts, you know, try to see the good in what they do, but with the narcissist, if we don't set the boundaries strong enough, they're going to be like my friend who did have a kind heart, but they cross the boundaries, which can make your life worse. So that's why I'm trying to get the point that setting boundaries is really important. Because even though my friend had good intentions, he cost the way my house looked plus extra money. He cost the functionality plus money on how my business was run. And when we deal with our narcissists, they like to overstep boundaries. And when we put them in place, though, that's a lot of times where it gets scary because they'll either break them or resent us for having boundaries. And it's almost like a challenge to them that they want to see if they can break them. And you need to stand up for yourselves, but they don't allow you to. And that's where it's so unhealthy. So I would suggest go no contact. I know I hope the story helped you in a little bit of a way to understand how cold narcissists can be. Sometimes it's not expected what they're going to go through. Sometimes it is expected. She didn't expect to hit him. But if she would have started the day out where she would have looked ahead to where she shouldn't have been driving drunk, to where she had some concern about the possibility of hurting somebody, if she would have left the light on, or if she would have helped him. There's things narcissists can do to make their lives better. She had several opportunities that night to have changed her life, but she dragged others into it. Just be careful of narcissists in your life. They'll drag your family, your friends. Everybody's going to become upset if you're with a healthy partner. You know, family gatherings will be nicer. You know, it's just the end of life. How they don't even really look back and see people for being more than just an object. So I hope that helped, and I'll see you in the next video.